Social media has never taken me down. The only times I've gotten taken down and I get too scared is for bullying. Like I got in trouble for bullying because people will leave hate comments. So I would just post like some shit that would make them feel bad about their lives.
Right.
Like there was some guy that said something, so I made fun of him. I made like a response video making fun of him, looking at his life. And it was kind of like punching down, but like, fuck it. I was feeling like extra mean that day. And yeah, they were like, this is bullying. You've been reported. We took your account down. If you get another one, we could delete your account. So I was like, fuck, man, I don't want to.
That's tough, man. Especially with bullying. I feel like there's a level of necessity for bullying.
Well, no, I said this. They should bring bullying back. I said this in the podcast. They should bring it back because it makes you realize. Good example. We have a new puppy right now. We just got a new puppy. And this motherfucker thinks he runs the house. He's the smallest one in here. He's the smallest out of all 4 of us in the house. We got another puppy, me, my girl. This little guy thinks he runs the house. He bites us. He barks. He'll run around. He'll just do whatever he wants. I'm like, fuck, how do we teach him a lesson, right? And the way we teach him a lesson is we gotta bully the motherfucker. So now I let cause first we were keeping him away from the other dog, cause like, he's gonna bite him, he's gonna fuck him up. But now I'm like, you know what? Fuck it, let the bullying happen. So we let him play with the big dog now, cause he needs to learn a fucking lesson. Bullying is how you teach people a lesson. If there's people, cause now in the world, people like run around, they run their mouth, they fucking comment on social media, they think they can get away with anything.
Right.
Right, cause they're hiding behind a screen. But back in my day, bullying solves all that, because the second a motherfucker starts talking shit, guess what? Bullies come and they put them in their place, and it forces them to get better. Because me, I got bullied. People were making fun of me. They're like, hey, you're small, you're weak, you get beat up. Guess what? I joined martial arts, I got disciplined, I started working out, then people bullied me, you get no bitches. I started working on my personality, cultivating a sense of humor, making money, getting my trimming and my look, my aesthetic on point. So it's like, the bullying has caused me to become a better person. I should thank my bullies.
Right, you know? Exactly.
Me and my bullies follow each other on Instagram.
Yep.
And we talk, or like, hey, yo, remember this? Because we're cool now, because they shaped my personality.
Exactly, 100%. When I was in college, we did, in my speech class, we were talking about a bunch of different things. My like term speech, because it's not really a term paper, because you have to be an orator or whatever. But I was in a situation, orator. I believe that's the terminology.
Orator.
But, I was in a, we had my speech to pretty much end, our class to close out the year was, I was talking about how bullying is actually necessary, right? And I would talk about how you'll never be able to battle and fight back against your demons if you don't, if you get bullied, there has to be a solution. You can't just stay there. Everything's attacking you. At one point, you're gonna have to stand up and say, nah, enough is enough, right? Now, if it's physical, if it's verbal, there's always gonna be a little bit of truth in it. There's always gonna be a little bit of truth in it. So you have to start to look internally and be like, all right, wait a minute, they're saying this about me, they're saying that about me. Is there any truth to that? How can I fix that? And when you're in a situation where if it's physical, if it's gonna continue, what's the alternative? You have to go and fight back, or you run away. One way or another, life is going to happen either now or further down the line where you're gonna have to face those demons. And when the bullying happens, it teaches you things about yourself. If you were never like one to fight back, oftentimes they're just trying to find a reaction out of you. The moment that you stand up is when the bullying stops.
Right.
So it's necessary. It's necessary. And too much now, we have too much coddling going on with people. Yep. It's, oh no, you're amazing, participation trophy. No, there should be people who are just better than others.
And you know what it is? I think people get scared because they're scared, oh, if someone gets bullied, they're gonna feel bad about themselves. They care too much about people's feelings.
Right.
And we live in the world of like, there's no losers. But that's not how real life works. Because if you look at it, some people are winners, some people are losers. Some people have great lives, some people don't have good lives. And when you have a society that teaches people it's okay to be losers, guess what? Your entire society is just soft.
Brutal. And it sucks though, because when you're a winner, or you aspire to be a winner, and now you're surrounded by people who are comfortable being losers, it is insufferable. Like you're just sitting there, like, so you have no intention of actually trying to get to a goal. Yeah. You have no desire to better yourself.
It's hard because iron sharpens iron. So when you're around people that are constantly smart, that are innovating, that are doing their thing. Good example, when you're here, I feel good because you're just crushing on YouTube, so I can pick your brain for ideas. Or if I say, hey, we should do this, you can expand on that idea, right? It's not me just telling you what to do. It's me saying, hey, or good example, with this podcast, I say short clips, I trust you completely. Titles, I trust you completely. It feels good to know that there's someone reliable on your team that can make something successful.
Right.
Because if you're just sitting around a bunch of idiots that don't care, they're not going to take it seriously. It's going to be all up to you. And why should I care more about something that benefits both of us?
Right.
Right. And it was like going back to you talking about your brother. You want him to lose weight. Why should you care more about his health than he cares about his own health?
Exactly.
That's how I feel about my brother in business. I say, hey, you should start a business. But why should I care more about him making money than him himself? You know, it makes zero sense. So when you're around someone that cares equally, if not more, about something you are working on, it makes you just so much better because now you feel like you need to elevate your game.
Exactly.
It makes you motivated.
Exactly, because naturally when you're around, like it's like alpha around alpha, or somebody who's in a situation where, like you said, iron sharpens iron. If you're in healthy competition, you're gonna want to do better. If I'm on a treadmill, you're on a treadmill. We're both going, all right, we're gonna do 30 minutes. If I'm now moving at 7 on the treadmill, the person next to me is moving on 6. Naturally, they're gonna look over like, yo, this person's kind of exerting a bit more than I am. You know what? I'm gonna go up to 7 too. Oh, right, you go up to 7. I'm going up to 8. Now you have that healthy competition that's there, and now you're gonna put out your peak performance. That's why it's necessary to have a bit of competitiveness. When you have you have a cornucopia of people who are comfortable being losers, now there's no competitive edge. That doesn't exist over there.
Yeah.
Nobody's striving to be better. And then there's a mass level of complacency.
When you look at, there's usually like a culture of excellence that surrounds everything, right?
Right.
So normally you have a group of people that are just losers and you look, oh, they're losers on that side. If one person, it's contagious too. If there's one person that's a loser, the rest of everyone else, they're like, oh, well, this guy's not trying, so I'm not gonna try. You see it with sports teams, you see it with athletes, you see it with businesses. There are businesses with a culture of losing. If there's one person that's a loser, the rest of everyone else in the office, it's contagious.
Right.
Contagious. I got fired from my job. And it's not because of my performance. I was doing a great job. I was in car sales. And I'm one of the top performers in a dealership. The issue was, and the reason they fired me, is I would because I was doing so well, I'd be like, you know what, I'm gonna take the day off, I'm gonna coast.
Right.
And they wanted people that are workhorses, working every single day. Me, I would go hard for a week, sling a bunch of cars, sell a bunch of cars, be at the top of the game, then I'll coast for the rest of the time. Like, you know what, chilling. And they didn't like it because everyone that wasn't selling, they would see me and be like, oh, well, he's slacking, he's being lazy, and I'm gonna be lazy too. But the difference was I had sold 10 cars already. They sold maybe 1 or 2, and they're sitting here coasting when they should really be working.
Because you earned the right to coast.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same thing with ego, where I think if you have an ego, you have to earn the right to have an ego.
Yeah.
I think if you work hard enough to where you can kind of take a step back, then you can do something like that to where, okay, if I'm making, let's say you're making like $30,000 a month. If you want to say, okay, I was putting out, my output of work was like 12 hours. If I want to cut that down to like 9, I think you've earned the right to do that. But if it then affects to where you go from 30 to 20, you've got to go back to what's been working. But if you have the mindset of saying, all right, well, I kind of want to take a step back, you have to earn the right to get there.
Yeah.
If you're in a situation where you've done no progression whatsoever, and then you're like, I want to take a step back, then what happens?
Yeah.
You're going to fall deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into complacency, and now you're back where you started.